Hello and welcome to the fourth session creation tutorial. In this tutorial I'll be showing you how to set up objectives and how to do basic freight operations. So let's get started. Obviously for purposes of this tutorial I cannot exactly use our passenger session because we will be talking about freight. As such, I've made a quick new session like this. I will not be setting up any of the driver or commands or anything like that, because for the purposes of this tutorial, I do not need them. So first things first, obviously, we need a train. So let's say 5-car train should be good. We will be loading grain. Now, we want to let the player know that they are supposed to load the grain. We will not be using the navigation points from the previous tutorial, we will be only using objectives. Now there's a slight difference in that. Objectives are pretty much just like text, telling you that you have to do something, whereas navigation points are actually visible on the route, track marks or just objects, icons on the tracks that give you an idea of what you have to do. Objectives don't do that, they just stick to the right top corner of your screen and stay there. Now, we've got our train, we've got our industry. Now we have to set them up to basically tell each other that one has to be emptied for the player to progress, and something has to be filled for the player to progress. So, let's start with the objectives first. We're going to tell the player that they need to load the train. So, click Edit Session. I have here just this. I will not be touching any of those. You can set them up according to the previous tutorials. We're going to add a rule, and this rule is called Objective Add. I will not be putting in any system list or like simultaneous list and name it system or anything like that, because this is really just for showing of how to set this up. So we're going to add an objective like this. And let's see here, unique objective ID, set that to 01, for example. You can set it to anything. I personally set it to 01 for the objectives, and for the navigation points I set 001. If you know what you're doing, then it's better to just like get kind of like, again, naming system in your head that you can use. Right, so display name, this is what the objective is going to be called that's going to tell the player what to do. In our case, load the train. Icon, we're going to select the load icon because we will be loading the train. Priority, normal, optional, urgent, above normal, below normal, that's up to you to select. When you have more of like a freestyle open world session, yes, you can make those. They are a bit more harder to get done, but it is possible. So that's when you would make something like this, where you would set the urgency or the priority to something. For my purposes, I'm going to keep it at normal. Completion target 1. I have no idea what this does, and honestly I don't think anyone has an idea what this does. It's not explicitly stated anywhere what it does, but yeah. I guess how many times you have to complete the objective in order for the objective to be considered complete, if that makes sense. At least that's my guess. I've never played with that, and I honestly don't think anyone else has played with that. So we can also add custom message to the objective. So let me just put it in the middle of the screen, because yes, it's better to have it in the middle. So I'm going to put in custom message, load the train with grain at the granary behind you, for example. So giving the player a sense of direction. It's behind me. Where's our engine? Here. What's behind me? This. So here's a granary. We're going to load the train there. So confirming that, we have the objective set up. Now, we obviously need to make the objective also complete. And for that, we're going to combine the freight operations with the objectives. So what are we going to do now? We need to tell the game, we need to tell the session when was the train loaded. There are two ways you can do this, the simple and the complex little. Well, both of them are simple, one just takes a bit longer. So we're going to add a rule, and this rule is called resource check. We're going to add it and editing it. Now, this is where the two different versions come into play. So there's the watch industry queue and there's watch vehicle queue. I'm going to show you both for the purposes of this tutorial. In reality, you need only one of them. Which one is up to you. So first things first, we're going to watch industry queue. Target object is going to be our industry, which is this one. So clicking that, selecting it, adding it in there as a target objective. Now, there's our queue and product. Now, when you first time click the queue, this message will pop up. The target object is still being loaded. Please wait a moment and try again. That's okay. Click OK, and then click the queue thing again. It will instantly load. That's normal thing. Don't be scared with it. You haven't done anything wrong. It's normal thing. It will pop up. So selecting the queue, cargo. Now, this is something where I have to mention. With certain industries, you will have different cargo queues. For example, this industry that I'm using here has only one cargo queue. Now, what do I mean by cargo queue? It's the amount of cargoes that are basically in there. I'm going to actually show you. So I'm gonna cancel that, confirm. Okay. Now, go into the objects mode, press P or the question mark on the bottom and click on the industry. Now, this is the cargo queue. You can see it's going to be basically a list of cargoes. The icons are gonna be in columns. Each queue, not queue, sorry. Each line of cargo equals one queue. So over here I have one queue, one line, so one queue. And if I had more cargo below, that would be the second queue, and below that would be the third queue, and so on. I can maybe show it on the multiple industry. So up, that's not the multiple industry. That's still not the multiple industry. Sometimes clicking the industries is a bit hard. So there we go. Queues. See, yeah, this is a bit better of an explanation. You can see Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. Each one of those queues can have their own cargo in there. So for our purposes, right now we have only one queue with one cargo. So let's go back into edit session, resource check. So let's select our queue. It's going to be called cargo for this one. Each industry will have a different queue, naming and stuff. So you really want to firstly check what you want to add and then actually add it. And then we're going to add the product. We're going to be using grain XVG, not grain HP, for our train cars to load, to get in them. Now, we have this setup. Oh, hold on. There we go. Right, so target object is there, queue is there, product is there. Now, we have the amount. Now, this is how much of the amount should be in the industry when this activates. So let's just say I'm going to put it to, I don't know, 35,000. Now I from memory know that my train cars, they take 80,000 units of grain. 80,000 items. So I can pretty much, yeah, you can put in here any kind of number. For my purposes, I'm gonna put in 35,000. I can put, for my purposes, yeah, I can put here anything as well, but I've decided to go with 35,000. So now I basically have what, 5 cars of grain, is that correct? 2, 4, 5, yes. So 80,000 times 5, that's 400,000 units of grain in total that we will have to load. So first things first, we are doing the industry queue. As such, let's just say that we want the this rule to be completed after we have emptied the industry. So setting the amount to 35,000 will be good because those 5 cars will empty those 400,000 by themselves. So let's see here. Below the amount, you see complete when designated queue equals or exceeds required amount, and complete when designated queue falls below required amount. Now I want the rule to activate when the industry is empty. And since I know each car takes 80,000, I'm going to click complete when designated queue falls below required amount. Now confirm that. Obviously, those two options are self-explanatory. If you know at least basic English, you will know what they mean. Now we have the resource check. In there, we know what it has to do. Now, the problem is, our industry has 5 million units of grain in it, not 400,000. And it produces at the rate of 5,000 every 30 seconds. Now, with industries, this is something that you can change regardless whether they are route or session layer. You can change the rate of production and you can change the start amount. For my purposes, I'm going to set the rate to 0 because I don't want any grain to be produced. It will hinder with the way I set up my session rules. I'm going to set the start amount to 400,000. We have that, confirm that. You can see that the amount has gone down. The green bar shows how much is loaded. All right. Now we'll go back into the edit session. And so that we can check that the industry has been emptied, I'm going to use the objectives again. And I'm going to add a rule below the resource check. It will be called objective update. Adding it in and moving it one to the right, so it's below the resource check. Opening it up, and let's see here. Unique objective ID. We are going to set this to 0, 1, because we want the objective that we've added at the beginning to be set as complete. So mode, set objective as complete, and there, when you click on that, there's more. There's a lot. Increment progress, decrement progress, reset objective, set objective as failed, set progress only if greater. There's a lot that you can play around with here. For my purposes, I'm going to only need set objective as complete. For other stuff, I encourage you to find out for yourself, to play around with it, to experiment around with it. And not only with this, with everything from the previous tutorials as well. So, we will now note when the industry is empty. It will complete the objective. And following that, we can add another objective. Let's name it 02. And let's name it drive to some town with grain unload. In my case, Ihlanova. Icon is going to be, where's the unload icon? There it is on the bottom. And custom message, drive to station name to unload the cargo or grain. You can specify it just like that. You can also put it one more to the right so that after the objective is complete, the new objective will be added. But you can see here this little like 2 green lines in there. Now, hovering your mouse over them will tell you children of this rule of these rules will be executed simultaneously. So that means stuff like this that's below with those icons are going to be executed simultaneously. There are ordered lists. Some rules have simultaneous execution of child rules, some rules have ordered execution of child rules. You may have noticed that in the previous tutorials I didn't mention it. I'm going to mention it now. You can order your stuff. For my representation, for my showcase, I'm gonna use the ordered list itself, and I'm just gonna put this in the right. You can see little numbers that they're going to be executed in sequence. Now, for my purposes, I might actually just do that and put the ordered list one to the right, just like that. Because I firstly want the objective update to be complete and then a new objective to be added, for example. Right, we have that. Now let's do a resource check again, and let me show you the second way of doing this, and that's with the train cars. So here on the bottom we're gonna click to watch vehicle queue and target. We have several of our beautiful grain hoppers here. So let's select it. Queue, obviously again, message, target is being loaded, click OK, and then click the queuing again. Nice. Now, with the train cars, we here see load 0, load 1. What do we select? Close this, open your trains tab, or press F7, and then edit properties again, press P or click the question mark. And click on the train cars. You see here, load 0, load 1 is like the cargo queues at the industries. Same thing applies here. You have a list of cargoes, a row of cargoes that you can, put in there, and you have another row of cargoes, load 0, load 1, Q0, Q1. It's the same thing. For our cargo that we want to load is located in load 0. So we're going to go back into edit session, go into the resource check, queue, load 0, product, grain XVG. Just like that. Now, we know our train cars take 80,000, so let's set this to 80,000 when they are full. And we're going to keep this complete when designated queue equals or exceeds required amount. Just like that. We're going to keep that. Now, we can do this for all the train cars. When you have a longer train, it's going to be much more taking on time. When you have a shorter train, it's obviously going to take less time. But still, the fastest way is to just tell the industry, like from the industry, when it is empty, rather than just when the car is full. Now, this obviously depends on how you want to set up your stuff. If you want the industry to be visited several times, it's better to opt for the vehicle check rather than the industry check. So, for my purposes here, I'm just going to show that, okay, it works with a little rule called message pop-up. I'm gonna just, you can add custom messages to this. I'm not going to set anything in here. I'm not going to talk about this rule. It's not important, and anything that, if you want to use it, is pretty much self-explanatory. It's got everything explained in it, as well as like other rules. So, message pop-up, let's say train car loaded. Just like that. Our train car has been loaded. Now, we can pretty much close this. I'll confirm this. Now, I personally know that going directly into QuickDrive with these rules is possible and nothing will break. So when you know that you're using stuff that will not break, you can just go directly into QuickDrive. You don't have to go through the menu like in previous tutorials. So I'm just going to QuickDrive, save, Yes. Just do that. Nice. So we're now in here. I haven't set up anything around this because I don't need it. So let's reverse up. Now on the top right, you can see our little objective is in there. It's called load the train. Clicking on it will show you the objective description. Load the train with grain at the granary behind you. Just like that. We've got the icon in there. We've got the amount of objectives that we have to complete. So far there's only one. So let's load the train up. Up. It's gonna go to that car for now. Some industries will require you to stop precisely. Some industries require to just drive through them. Actually, I'm just going to up. Never mind. Up. Okay, good. I'm gonna load this train car because it shows our message. You can see message has appeared. Train car loaded. That means our resource check works. This train car has been loaded. Right, let's continue further. And let's load the other train cars as well so that we empty the industry. Now my mind is just playing games with me and I'm not sure if I've set it all correctly, but it all should be correctly set up. It should load at the back ones as well. At least at this industry, I hope. So yeah, let's try to stop precisely, I guess, just a little bit further. Okay. Up. Alright. That's 4 out of 5 cars. And now we just have to load the final car. And now if we set up everything correctly, it should work and I don't need to redo this entire tutorial. There we go. Train car loaded. Industry is empty. And you can see our new objective has appeared and the previous one has disappeared because it is complete. Very nice. So yeah, drive to tunnel to unload the grain. Obviously we haven't set up that part of the session, so I will not be obviously doing that thing. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope that you've enjoyed and obviously learned on how to set things up. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next tutorial. Have a beautiful day.